What would you do if the richest man in your village humiliated you in front of everyone? Would you fight back, take revenge, or would you stay silent? This is the story of a poor carpenter who chose silence over anger. And because of that choice, he didn't just win. He won everything in a quiet village, far from the noise of the bustling cities. Lived a simple man named Illy. He was a humble carpenter, not rich, not powerful, but deeply respected by the few who knew his true nature. But life in this village wasn't easy, especially because of one man, Lord Verk, the cruel landlord who ruled this land like a king. Verk was powerful, his word was law, and Illy was nothing more than a poor man with calloused hands and worn clothes. And yet, the day would come when the tables would turn in a way no one in the village could have ever imagined. The marketplace, whispering villagers one spring morning, Verk arrived at Illy's small workshop. "I heard you made a fine table for the old priest. I want one just like it." Verk said, eyeing him sharply. "I'd be honored, my lord," Illy replied, bowing his head. But Verk grinned darkly. "For free, of course. A man like you can afford such charity, yes." The villagers gasped. It was an insult, a blow to Illy's pride, but Illy said nothing. He simply smiled and said softly, "Of course, my lord. I'll build it." Illy working late at night in candlelight for weeks. Illy worked day and night on the table, pouring his skill, his patience, and his quiet strength into every curve, every line of the wood. His friends warned him, "You should curse him, Illy. Shame him in public. Teach him a lesson." But Illy only smiled gently. "Revenge makes the heart small," he said. "Patience makes it great." Verk's mansion. The grand table delivered. The table was delivered. A masterpiece of craftsmanship. Verk mocked him again. "Such fine work. For free. What a fool you are, Illy. You build with your hands, but think with an empty head." The crowd laughed cruelly, and Illy said nothing. He simply bowed and walked away silent. A year later, royal messengers ride into the village. Everything changed when the king himself sent men to the village. His Majesty seeks the finest carpenter in the land to build the new royal library. Names were whispered, suggestions made, but when the royal steward inspected Verk's mansion, he gasped, "Who made this table?" Verk proudly said, "It is mine. I bought it from a distant craftsman." But the steward shook his head. The maker carved a symbol hidden beneath the tabletop, a signature of Illy the carpenter. The crowd froze. The king's men turned to Illy. "You, poor man, you are the master the king seeks." Illy before the king in the royal palace. Illy was brought before the king himself. "I have seen your work," the king said. "Such patience, such beauty. I offer you gold, land, and a title if you will build my library." Verk arrived, pale, trembling, begging the king to forgive his lie. But Illy only bowed. "I hold no grudge. I came to build, not to break." The king was astonished. "Such grace in silence," the king said. "You have not only won my favor, but my respect." Illy's return to the village. Now a rich and honored man, Illy returned home, no longer a poor carpenter, but Lord Illy, master builder to the king. Verk's lands were stripped, his power gone, but Illy did not mock him. He did not punish him. When Verk fell ill and lay forgotten, it was Illy who sent medicine. Illy who paid the doctors. "Why help the man who shamed you?" a villager asked. Illy smiled. "Because silence over revenge gave me everything, and anger would have left me with nothing." Sunset over the village. Illy teaching young carpenters, and so Illy's story spread far and wide. The man who chose silence over revenge and won everything. His name lived not because of power or violence, but because of patience, skill, and grace. Sometimes in life, the greatest victory is walking away and letting time do what anger never can.